Come on, honey.
Okay, we are live. It's This Week in vCons. So this is the end of the week of today's May 8th, 2026. And it's Thomas and Mitch today. Yes, we have a special guest. Oh my God, in the studio, in the Cape Cod studios. That's Mitch.
Remember, we live in vConstable.
In vConstable, yes. That's sort of like that ecosystem where vCons just come out and play.
Exactly.
So how has this week in vCons been for you guys?
Well, I had a pretty good week in vCons because I've been doing like a lot of real-time work.
Oh.
And it's something I really wanted to get to in the vCon stuff for a while, so that's been a lot of fun for me. So I've had a very good real-time week.
Any insights that you're learning by doing real-time vCons?
Yeah, actually, there is a very nice ecosystem for video streaming and audio streaming that I'm leveraging for that. Doing a lot of work in what's called MPEG-Dash. And the insight is, you know what, these things are coming together very, very nicely. Awesome. There's a very nice intersection between vCons and the streaming architectures. Yeah.
Wow. And Mitch, do you have any news for the week?
Yeah. So we've been having some fun doing some work for TELUS Digital, and we recently launched our agent quality application, which is an AQM solution on top of vCons. So we have a multi-layer architecture where we have vCons at the back end.
Wow.
And the PubSub model to bring them in for analysis for a next generation quality management solution.
And has TELUS put that out in a press release yet?
No, it's been on the Mitch press release, but not the.
Oh, I know. I think it's to have a major carrier like TELUS, support vCons publicly is a big thing.
Right. So we've been quietly. So we're looking for beta customers. So as this team knows, and what's super important is customer conversations are secure and have private information. So even though it's beta, you have to make sure the back end is clean and clear and safe and secure. And so we're working with some early stage potential customers to help us kind of do the analysis on top of that. So you have, vCon in a secure area, and TELUS has a strategic AI factory and a kind of a sovereign AI approach up in Canada. So we can keep the vCons safe, secure there. You can do transcription, redaction in a secure data center, and then you can then feed it into more of a front end system for analysis.
That's amazing. Wow,
things.
That's super cool. I'm in San Diego because yesterday I gave a co-keynote at a tax compliance conference, and I think that one of the early adopters, ironically, one of the early adopters for vCons is going to be the compliance departments of telcos. They need it.
Yeah.
And while I had an audience mostly of accountants sitting in the room, they were getting into the vCon side, and I kind of explained it to them as a new best friend they didn't know they had, because it's there and it helps them do their job. And so next year this taxation conference is going to be taking place in New Orleans, and I offered to do a workshop the day before to show exactly how vCons can be used in compliance. So we have a year to put together.
Right at home, though, Jeff, right? You must have right at home with a room full of accountants.
Yeah, well, I do have a BBA in accounting, but I'm gainfully unemployed in that area, and I kind of made a joke about that at the show yesterday. But it was fun though, because I really do believe that one of the big four consulting firms will make a huge amount of money from their vCon practice.
Oh my God, yeah. I think that's obvious. I mean, it's one of the really interesting things. Every time we have the vCon hackathon, you see, yet another management consulting use case come out of all the insight you have now and all the transformations you can do. It's
right.
It's just, and we had we did have a vCon Foundation road trip stop at Crescendo this week. So a few hardy souls came, and it was nice. It was nice to see the founding members of NetSapiens there.
Right.
And the big thing to me is getting the word out, not the hype, but the word out about the power of vCons. Because I think when the average person who's playing an AI starts to understand the impact of what you guys are working on, it's a horizontal opportunity for the masses to play with. It's not a vertical, teeny little thing. It's actually really, really big.
I had a vCon moment yesterday about how wide this thing is. So we're one of our big use. So a lot of our ideal customers are big enterprise, regulated stuff, and in healthcare is a good one for us. And so I remember last year, I made this program called the vCon Faker.
Yes,
Remember the vCon Faker? You make
I do.
yeah. So well, this is 2026, and I don't need a stinking vCon Faker because we asked Claude, make me. And it's for case management, right? I want 7 different case management scenarios. I want 10 conversations each. Sprinkle them with conversational artifacts like I didn't hear you and that kind of stuff. An hour later, I've got full vCons, audio, transcriptions, analysis.
Really? Wow.
It's like crazy.
That is crazy. Wow, that is a game changer. And
one of the things that we're looking at is I've been doing a lot of research and looking at kind of next generation contact centers and how this all fits together. And 10 years ago, it was, what was it, big data, and everybody said make sure your data is clean. And what's missing in the modern contact center is a more structured intelligence layer foundationally, and that still includes data. But it doesn't. So to Thomas's use case about healthcare, the data and the cleanliness of the data is not the problem. It's the compliance and the ability to make sure you're allowed to use the data.
Yes,
there's a tremendous focus on the front end and the kind of the top, all these applications that want to do customer service and self-service and AI, but the foundation and the compliance layer underneath are not very mature. Let's kind of put it that way.
Yeah, and I think fundamentally, I wonder whether or not some of the voice AI companies will come back and start wrapping their work product with vCons, and then take advantage of the compliance layers that are built into the vCon.
Yeah. We went way faster on the application layer than the infrastructure layer.
Right.
And it's absolutely going to have to be that we have that they need a substrate.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I've been reaching out to some of the multitude of companies, the new ones and the ones that have been in the ecosystem.
They're everywhere.
And I think there's a lot of learning opportunities. In fact, Thomas, I think we have to bring back introduction to vCons and do it as another online tutorial, stuff that we were doing in 24. Bring it back, because now that people are waking up, we can teach. Maybe they'll listen this time.
Well, it just so happens I've been working on a new introduction called Thinking vCon, and I'll release it pretty soon. But absolutely, I mean, I think it's time for that again, and I think it's also time to like, now that we've learned a lot about why, where, and how. It's probably not much easier story to tell too, because there's many more examples.
Right.
Yeah, and also just those use cases. So I was talking to a major European telco this week who wants to join the vCon Foundation, which I'm very excited about. And they're very very interested about vCons, but they're having a hard time selling on the wholesale side to their sales team why wholesale vCons. And so, do you have any, without me naming the company, any suggestions on how someone in the wholesale space and telecom wholesale can make money from vCons?
Well, yeah, I do. So the first thing is, think about vCons. So the value proposition of vCons is AI enablement, right? It's at the very end of the day, why would you do this? Well, so you can enable AI. And it's the most important data we have is conversations, right? So that's the foundation of it. The reason on the wholesale side it makes sense is because right now conversations are scattered. They're everywhere.
Right.
They're in your browser, they're in your phone, and they're also in the network. And so it is a very rich place to get that AI enablement data. And the product that I like to think about is what I call the smart trunk, which is as a SIP trunk that spits out vCons when you're done. And we wholesale SIP trunks. There's no reason we couldn't wholesale. And if you wanted to get the biggest bang for your buck as fast as you could get it, I think smart trunks are a great play. Those conversations need to be gathered like the rest of them do.
Right. So actually, something that comes to mind in wholesale vCon, and we had a customer have a conversation. We were talking about the AQM quality management solution that I was mentioning, but bringing this to this, the question came up, and some members of my team were like, "Wow, nobody can do this," which is, can you string a bunch of individual conversations together from one customer? And vCons and conservers naturally meant to do that. Without them, you have to do some crazy joins across multiple systems and multiple databases, right?
Yes.
To figure out how to do that. We don't have it yet. Don't want to kind of oversell it, but with vCon as a foundation, the ability to kind of link multiple conversations together into one journey. I mean, Thomas and I have been talking about that for years with the SMS, right? Is SMS one conversation across, 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 years?
By the way, because there's no clear delineation when a conversation starts and ends in SMS. You just don't know.
Right. Right. So it's just interesting. So that the value is to a telco is the ability to, the talk is customer journey, but that becomes really big across modes. But when the modes are communication modes, vCons are naturally built to support the links across the conversations.
And I was warned by a compliance officer to be careful what we wish for. And that was, if we push real hard on vCons becoming the standard on the tax compliance, on the compliance side, that the FCC eventually will start issuing NPRMs for enforcement. And so that while vCons are our friends, to some people, it may be the enemy.
Yeah, you know what? And I say pick your enemies.
So look, I thank you both for being a guest. Well, Thomas, you're always here on This Week in vCons, and Mitch, it's nice to see you. And I do enjoy your CRM talks at our conferences. You are Mr. Conversational. I don't know. I think of my first experiences with CRM, and I think of you and how everything's changed. And the future is, I don't think it's really about customer relationship management anymore. I really think it's about the management of the conversations and the rich data that's implied inside of it and all the metadata that comes with it. And your talks are the most prolific I've seen and heard, online and in person.
Well, rumor has it that there may be a book behind the scenes coming out at some point about that.
Really? One with an animal on it, maybe?
One with an animal? No, just something about.
I was thinking of O'Reilly, that on O'Reilly books. Yeah,
I know those O'Reilly books. No, I don't. I'm not. No, I'm not friends with squirrels, but
but you could be.
I could be. I could be.
Do they get to pick their own animals?
I don't know.
Or do the editors pick an animal?
The editor probably does, yes. But so, what animal would you be picking for a vCon book?
It would be more of a context graph. I would be boring.
Okay. Well, then be a spider.
It would be a spider. It could be a spider. Could be a spider.
But by the way, some of the early web books on web design had spiders there. So
they did have spiders.
Web, right?
Web.
As long as it's not a black widow, we're good.
Yeah, no, I want to have a sheepadoodle. If I could pick mine, and big fluffy dog, and that would be.
I think that goes. I haven't seen any fluffy dogs on an O'Reilly book in a long time. So anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for being here this week on This Week in vCons. And if you're listening and you want to be a guest on our show, drop us a line. We're happy to talk to anyone and everyone playing in the world of vCons. And if you happen to be in New York City next week on May 13th, that's the next stop in the vCon Foundation Roadshow. And rumor has it Thomas will be there. Okay. So bring your vCons and join us May 13th. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a great weekend.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.